Who was Tomura Shigaraki? A killer? A monster? A villain? A friend? A ray of hope? A hero to those that didn't have one? Chapter 427 sees the conclusion to Spinner's story and Deku visiting him to deliver Shigaraki's final words. The doctors have managed to stabilize Spinner's body and stop him from turning into a Nomu, returning him back to normal. Spinner is pissed that he has to see Shigaraki's murderer, but after hearing his words, he is left more so confused than angry. Why would Shigaraki only want him to hear his words? What about Toga, Dabi, or Compress? But Deku affirms once again that his words were only directed towards Spinner. Hearing that, Spinner begins to vent out his frustration about how Shigaraki was the only one to give him hope, a light that guided him through the darkness, that made him believe that even though he was a heteromorph, he was still able to dream about becoming someone special. As he goes on and his emotion begin to swell, Spinner reverts back to his giant form, and as the doctors are about to interfere, Deku raises his hand, signaling them to not come any closer, wanting to let Spinner vent out his emotions. As Spinner grabs Deku, he screams that Shigaraki was his hero, his first ever friend that took him seriously. As he says this, panels of people saying how Shigaraki was nothing but a heartless monster have been interjected with Spinner's words. As Spinner calms down and reverts back to his normal self, Deku mentions how Shigaraki wanted to be a hero for the villains, that even after everything, Shigaraki held the league right in the middle of his heart, affirming that the love and respect Spinner had for his leader was also returned towards his allies. Hearing that, Spinner thinks to himself about the time in the cave, about his regret of not doing anything. Maybe he could have done something to save his friend, his hero, if he only took one more step, but it's too late now. So, as Deku is ready to leave, Spinner declares his final mission. Before the league can be forgotten and people start acting like they never existed, he would write a book about them, about the symbol of fear Shigaraki Tomura, and how he and his allies lived to destroy, a way to never be forgotten. As he is about to leave, Deku suggests that Spinner make his story into a comic, and while leaving, he promises that he would never forget about Shigaraki. Hearing this, Spinner has one final message, and that is for Shoji, or the octopus, to do his best. With this final message, Deku leaves and meets up with Tsukauchi and All Might, who similarly to Endeavor is in a wheelchair. Not even a panel later after seeing All Might, we get to see the conclusion of the man, the myth, the legend, Overhaul, and his conclusion is pretty much what I expected, pretty much what everyone expected, which is not a bad thing by any means. Overhaul is left as a sobbing mess behind bars, with his boss being incredibly disappointed in how Chisaki turned out. At least you can say that the only positive is that his boss would be with him, making sure he regrets his actions for as long as he lives. I love his ending. My goat got what he deserved. Leaving Overhaul behind, Deku asks Tsukauchi if they can prevent cases such as the leak from happening ever again, which Tsukauchi says that they cannot. The chapter ends by showing us the new first years simping over Bakugo and Todoroki. Another amazing chapter. Horikoshi has been 2 for 2 when it comes to the conclusions, having the divide between the public's view on the outer layer of Shigaraki, calling him a monster and someone who only wants to destroy, and Spinner's side that saw and connected with the actual person, portraying him in a lighter side, the way that Horikoshi neither demeans nor interrupts neither side, showing us that yeah, Shigaraki was a murderer, a villain, but it's not simply a black and white problem, which makes Deku's suggestion for Spinner to make a comic instead of a book makes even more sense. Not only have comics been shown throughout the series to affect people deeply, not only can they be read by as many people as possible, but due to their nature, a comic would need more than just words. Spinner would need to depict the emotions by facial expressions and actions, things that are more influential to the reader than just words. Shigaraki was a monster, but by showing the secrets behind the curtain, Spinner could make people, at the very least, empathize with him. Also, Tsukauchi saying how there is no way to prevent cases like Shigaraki from happening is not entirely true. Of course, realistically, heroes cannot be there for every single person that has been dealt a bad hand. However, if people continue to think that there is nothing that could have been done, then the cycle will just continue and a new Shigaraki will be born eventually. So, I feel that with the new crying man that appeared a couple of chapters ago, Deku would be the one want to break the cycle, to give out his hand to the one who needs it the most, signifying a new era where heroes don't just abandon the people hiding in the shadows. Great chapter overall. Fuck this hack though, we all hate this hack.